Hey guys, so today I want to talk about freedom. If I asked you, do you want more freedom in your life? You'll probably say, oh yeah, of course, everybody wants more freedom, right? Well, not necessarily. I think most people, we have a very narrow concept of what freedom is. And most of us, we're not really aware of the implications of having real freedom. Now, most of us, when we think of freedom, we think of, to be able to do whatever we want without limitation, whenever we want, right? That's what freedom seems to mean for most people. You get a Monday morning and you don't feel like going to work. Instead, you want to stay in bed. You may be wondering, I wish I had more freedom. I wish I had the freedom of not having to go to work, because the definition of having a job is it's a bunch of limitations, right? And part of it is your responsibility is to get your butt up every morning and go to an office. So for most people, the concept of freedom is really to do what they want at the time that they want to do it. However, there is this other side of freedom, which that people don't usually think about, which is if you have more freedom, that means you have more responsibilities. So a lot of times, because we are so used to living the life that we normally live, most of the time we don't realize how much outside influence and how much outside guidance in terms of beliefs and thoughts and protocols and social norms that we rely on in order to live our life in an organized way. Now, most people, we like to think of ourselves as free thinkers, independent thinkers, right? We do whatever we want. But actually, this is, for the most part, it's vastly untrue. Most of us, we get the beliefs we have, the thoughts we have, the way we conduct our lives are imported somewhere else. It's imported from society. It's inherited from parents, teachers, and ancestors, whoever, right? But it's just most of the time we are not aware of those things. We take them for granted, and we're not aware that most of the time when we walk through life, we are holding on to the handrails that other people have set up for us, no matter whether you are at a workplace or in your personal life. So if those things are not there, so those things, they are limitations on your freedom. But they also provide guidance and a comfort, and the knowing that you are here and you will be all right if you hold on to the railing, if you hold on to the things that you know, you will be safe, right? So without those things, you will not have that sense of safety. And that's what most people grab onto for dear life. And although most of the time we don't realize this. So many years ago, I had this experience in one of my meditations. I had a very deep meditation in which I was sitting there with my eyes closed, and I just dropped into this space, or rather, it's non-space, because it's what some people would call the 0 point, when the space just collapsed down to 0 dimension. It's very hard to describe in words because words is linear, right? So I entered this non-space, and suddenly what it felt like is there was no directions. Most of the time, for most people, we live in 3-dimensional space, right? There is left and right, up and down. We know, like, if you look forward, you will see something that's different from if you look backward. So we are used to that arrangement. And if you think about it, if you think about it, stop and think about this for a sec. This is not to be taken for granted. This is like space in itself is direction. And when you don't have that direction, you know what will happen? That's what I felt at that point when I dropped into this zero point non-space space in my meditation. I completely freaked out because there's no guidance. There was no direction whatsoever. And I had this distinct realization that if I wanted to, if I wanted things to happen that way, I can make anything happen in my life. But the flip side of that is that I have to take responsibility for everything. Basically, I will need to be God. And that was the realization, very, very profound realization I had at that time. But I wasn't glad having that realization because I wanted nothing to do with those responsibilities. So I totally freaked out, and I realized, I have been telling myself I want more freedom, but in fact, I didn't, because here in this space, when I was shown that I actually was able to have more freedom if I really wanted it, I chose not to, because I felt like I didn't feel powerful enough to take on that much of a responsibility. So believe it or not, this general principle, as within, so without, I think it holds true. It always holds true, no matter where you are. So whether you think you have less freedom than you desire, or you have more freedom than you want, you are probably at the right space. If you think that you wish you have more freedom in your life, however, you don't have that freedom, what it tells you is that you're probably not in an internal place for you to take on more freedom. I'll give you a more real world example, right? A more tangible example. Stop being so esoteric, Natasha. So I started my business, right, earlier this year. And if you are used to working at a 9-to-5 job or a 5 days a week job all the time for many years, starting your own business is very strange, because I wake up in the morning and I was like, okay, now what? I don't have to go to the office. I don't have a boss. Nobody tells me what to do. Oh, yay! Wonderful, right? No, not necessarily. Actually, it's the opposite of wonderful, because, I'll be sitting there and it's like, okay, what should I do now? There are 1,000 things I can do, to get the business started or not started. But at the same time, I'm responsible for picking things out of all these alternatives, of all these thousands, 100,000s of possibilities. And it's literally overwhelming if you think about it. Again, if you're not used to having that freedom, then having that freedom it doesn't feel good at all. It doesn't feel comforting at all. Especially if you're very used to a structured life. Waking up in the morning and feel like, oh, there's no direction. Nobody tells me what to do. I have to feel into the ether and create something out of nothing. This is not an entirely enjoyable experience for most people, I would say. Now, so my point is, really, if you want more freedom in your life, I think when you say you want more freedom in your life, I believe you. I believe that to be partially true. A part of you wants more freedom in your life, but you are not having more freedom. And the reason is because some part of you is not ready for it. And the universe only gives you whatever you're ready for, no matter whether that feels like the case or not. So if you really want more freedom, what I would suggest you to do is to practice. Practice taking out more responsibility and making more of your own choices, and practice following your internal guidance, following your internal GPS, and trusting that things will be okay no matter what, and trusting that you really it's not possible for you to make any real mistakes in life, and things will turn out okay no matter what, and you have all the freedom you want to follow your inner guidance if you allow things to be that way. And if you start practicing, if you really get yourself prepared to be in the energetic space, to be in the mindset, to be in the space when you can take on more freedom, freedom will come. Again, it's as within, so without. The universe will not give you more than what you are capable of handling. So that's what I want to tell you today. Do you ask yourself, do I really want more freedom? And if I don't have more freedom, is there a part of me that really don't want more freedom? Because, I can probably tell you like almost 100%. If you feel like there are, all these external limitations for you to do what you want, and that's why you don't have enough freedom in your life, that is probably not the root cause of why. And you have to find that cause internally. And when you're more comfortable, when you feel less discomfort, when you no longer freak out so much for that, because of that responsibility, because of that freedom, then you will manifest more freedom in your life. It's almost like it's the definition of more freedom is to be able to allow yourself to make judgment on your decisions, on your actions, from your internal drive, from your internal inspirations. And that's really the definition of freedom. So if you can get yourself into more of that space, the external freedom, the external freedom meaning that what's seen from the outside to be how much freedom you have because of the presence or lack of external constraints, will change to reflect the state you're in internally. So this is for today. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe and share this with your friends. I'll see you next time.